Well, for me, a big personal motivator is being able to make a difference and seeing that difference. I would primarily be supervising national staff in the pharmacies. They do most of the day-to-day work and they are more than capable of that. The pharmacist is responsible for keeping the supply of medicines flowing, avoiding running out of medicines, dealing with overstocks of medicines, that sort of thing. Working with an MSF mission that's dependent on imports of medicines from Europe. We get 3 or 4 deliveries a year. So that means the pharmacist is responsible for making sure that that doesn't run out, for checking the consumption of it, for checking prescribing figures and addressing problems as they arise, making sure that MSF protocols are followed, and also predicting what's likely to be needed when it comes to the time to prepare an international order. You work with both the medical team and the logistics team, so it's both clinical and supply. I wanted to work with MSF because I felt that I wanted to use my skills and experience in a humanitarian context, and also MSF brings together 3 of my big interests in life, and that's medicine, politics, and travel. Typical days on mission is hard to describe because there aren't many typical days. But for example, in DRC, I spent days updating things like order forms for the pharmacy, order forms from hospital departments to the pharmacy. There's a consumption tool which shows the usage of every medical item by different departments. So I'd be looking and analysing that to make sure that medicines were not being overconsumed, and if they were, then trying to find out why and doing something about it if it wasn't appropriate. I would work with the pharmacy staff from time to time, things like the monthly stock inventory in the pharmacy, which is dreaded and hated, where every last tablet has to be physically counted. I would also prepare training material. There's a lot of call for training in pharmacies, and that's something that I did a fair amount of, particularly in DRC. It's quite different from, say, community pharmacy or even hospital pharmacy, because one thing you won't do or you shouldn't get too involved in is the day-to-day work. You won't be doing dispensing and that sort of thing because the national staff are there and it's their job to do that. Your job is to empower them to do their work, to give them the space to do their work, to make sure that procedures are followed and the structures are in place to enable that to happen, to look at any training gaps and fill those. So it is actually quite different. Try and find out as much as you can about MSF before applying, and it really helped me to find somebody who's worked with MSF before and talk to them just to get an idea of what the life is like. Once you are out in the field, remember that you're only there for a short time. To ask questions, don't change anything until you understand why it's like that. Don't change anything without involving the national staff in your decision. You'll be gone after your mission. They stay and they have to deal with things. The best thing about working for MSF for me is the people, without a doubt. A pharmacy role sits in between medical and logistics. you have to understand how to work with both of these teams, understand the tools that they use, even the language that they use. There can be a lot of misunderstandings between logistics and medical, and part of a pharmacy role is to smooth the way and get the best out of both sides. And then there's the national staff, of course. They're a joy to work with. Being able to give them the space to do their job well, to empower them to carry on the job is very rewarding.